Welcome back, beautiful souls. Today, I'm going to share something so powerful, so transformative, that it might just change everything for you. Before we begin, take a deep breath. Feel that? That's potential. That's the energy of possibility flowing through your body right now. And today, I'm going to show you how to harness it in ways you never imagined possible. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to attract everything they desire effortlessly, while others struggle day after day fighting against the current of life? What if I told you that the difference between these two realities could be as simple as putting your name in salt water? Stay with me, because what I'm about to share has transformed thousands of lives, including my own. When I first discovered this technique, I was at my lowest point. I'd lost my business, my relationship was falling apart, and I was drowning in debt. I was that person who would look at successful people and think they must have some secret, some advantage that I didn't. And you know what? I was right. There is a secret. But it's not what you think. The saltwater technique I'm going to share with you today is based on ancient wisdom combined with cutting-edge understandings of quantum physics and the science of consciousness. It's where tradition meets innovation, where spiritual practice meets scientific method. And the results? Nothing short of miraculous. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt that no matter how hard you try, you're stuck in the same patterns? The same limitations, the same struggles? That's because your subconscious mind, that powerful hidden part of you that runs 95% of your life, is programmed to maintain those patterns. But what if you could reprogram it? What if you could rewrite those invisible scripts that have been holding you back? That's exactly what this saltwater technique does. It creates a physical bridge between your conscious desires and your subconscious programming. It taps into the ancient understanding that water holds memory, that salt purifies and amplifies energy, and that your name, your identity, is the most powerful trigger for your own consciousness. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. This sounds too simple to work, too good to be true. I get it. I was skeptical too. But then I saw the results in my own life. I went from broke to abundant, from lonely to deeply connected, from exhausted to energized, all by practicing this technique consistently. I've watched thousands of my students do the same. So here's what we're going to cover today. First, I'll explain exactly how to perform the saltwater name technique. Then I'll break down the science and ancient wisdom behind why it works. I'll share specific examples of how it's transformed lives. And finally, I'll give you additional practices to amplify its effects. By the end of this video, you'll have a powerful new tool to manifest the life you truly desire. Before we dive in, I want to be clear about something. This isn't magical thinking. This isn't about wishing for something and then sitting back on your couch waiting for it to appear. This is about aligning your entire being, conscious and subconscious, with your deepest desires, and then taking inspired action from that aligned state. This is about transformation from the inside out. So let's get into the technique itself. It's beautifully simple, yet profound in its effects. You'll need three things: a clear glass bowl, pure water, spring water is best, but filtered tap water works too, and natural sea salt, not the processed table salt, but real mineral-rich sea salt. Fill the bowl about halfway with water. Then add a tablespoon of sea salt and stir it clockwise with your finger until the salt dissolves completely. As you stir, focus on your breath, allowing your mind to quiet. This is important because you're preparing to access deeper levels of consciousness. Once the salt is dissolved, it's time for the powerful part. With your dominant hand, use your index finger to write your full name on the surface of the water. Yes, literally write on the water's surface. The water will ripple and then settle. As you write each letter, pronounce it clearly in your mind. Feel the sound of your name resonating through your being. After you've written your name, place both hands on either side of the bowl without touching the water. Close your eyes and visualize your name glowing on the surface of the water, pulsing with light. Then imagine that light beginning to radiate outward, connecting with the vast field of energy that surrounds us all, what some call the quantum field. Others call the field of infinite possibilities. Now, here's where it gets really powerful. In this receptive state, clearly state what you desire to manifest in your life. Be specific, but focus on the essence rather than exact details. For example, instead of saying, I want a red Tesla Model X, say, I am now attracting my perfect vehicle that brings me joy, comfort, and freedom. Instead of saying, I want to marry this specific person, say, I am now attracting my perfect relationship, filled with love, respect, and growth. Speak these desires out loud with conviction as if they are already happening. I am now, not I want or I will. This present tense framing is crucial because your subconscious doesn't distinguish between what is happening now and what is vividly imagined. By speaking in the present tense, you're installing these new patterns directly into your subconscious programming. After stating each desire, pause and feel the emotion of already having it. This emotional component is what gives the technique its power. Your emotions are energy in motion. They're the fuel that propels your desires from the realm of possibility into physical reality. Once you've stated all your desires and felt the emotions of having them fulfilled, gently place your hands in the water, palms down. The water will now feel different. Many people report a tingling sensation or a slight temperature change. This is the water taking on the energetic imprint of your newly aligned consciousness. Cup your hands and splash some of this water on your face. As the water touches your skin, affirm, I am now aligned with the highest expression of my true self. Everything I desire is flowing to me with ease and joy. The final step is to pour the water onto soil, either in a garden or a potted plant. This completes the circuit, returning the energized water to the earth, where it can continue to grow and manifest. As you pour, express gratitude for what is already on its way to you. Now, I recommend doing this practice at sunrise or sunset, when the energetic gates between dimensions are most open. Do it consistently for 21 days, the time it takes to begin rewiring neural pathways in your brain. And I promise you'll start seeing shifts in your reality. But why does this work? Let's break it down, starting with the science. Water is not just H2O, it's one of the most mysterious substances on our planet. Research by Dr. Masaru Emoto, a Japanese scientist, demonstrated that water can be influenced by intention, words, and even thoughts. His famous experiments showed that water exposed to positive words formed beautiful, symmetrical crystals when frozen, while water exposed to negative words formed chaotic, fragmented patterns. Salt has been revered across cultures for thousands of years. From a scientific perspective, salt is a crystal with a perfect geometric structure. It enhances electrical conductivity. And remember, your brain operates through electrical signals. Salt also purifies and preserves. In quantum physics terms, it helps to stabilize energy patterns. Your name is your primary energetic signature. It's the sound vibration you've responded to your entire life. When you write your name on water, you're creating a direct energetic link between your identity, all that you are, and the programmable medium of the water. From an ancient wisdom perspective, many traditions teach that speaking something with intention into water and then consuming that water or using it for blessing is a way to manifest desired outcomes. We're simply refining and focusing this age-old practice. But there's something even deeper happening here. This technique works because it bridges the conscious and subconscious aspects of your mind. Your conscious mind knows what you want, but your subconscious, which runs most of your life, often operates on old programming that contradicts your desires. When you were a child, your brain was in a highly receptive state, absorbing information without filters. During those formative years, you took on beliefs about yourself, about what's possible, about how the world works. Many of these beliefs were limiting. Money is hard to come by. Love always ends in pain. Success requires struggle. These beliefs became your subconscious programming, and they've been running your life on autopilot. The saltwater name technique bypasses your conscious mind's critical filters and speaks directly to your subconscious. It creates a state of receptivity similar to that of a child, allowing new, empowering beliefs to be installed. When you combine this with the power of your name and the energy-conducting properties of salt water, you create a perfect storm for transformation. I've seen this technique transform lives in ways that seem miraculous. Take one of my students. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah had been struggling with chronic health issues for over a decade. She tried everything: conventional medicine, alternative therapies, strict diets. Nothing brought lasting relief. After learning the salt water name technique, she practiced it diligently every morning for 21 days, focusing on vibrant health and energy. Within a week, she noticed subtle shifts: sleeping better, waking with more energy. By the end of the 21 days, her symptoms had reduced by 70%. And 3 months later, her doctor was stunned by her test results. The chronic inflammation markers that had been elevated for years had returned to normal ranges. Sarah didn't just feel better, her body was measurably healthier. Or consider another student. Let's call him Michael. Michael had been stuck in a job he hated for 8 years, constantly applying for better positions, but never getting past the interview stage. He felt invisible, undervalued. After using the salt water technique for just 2 weeks, focusing on career fulfillment and recognition, he was approached by a company he hadn't even applied to. They had somehow come across his online profile and wanted to interview him for a position that aligned perfectly with his skills and passions. He got the job, which came with double his previous salary. Now, I want to be clear. These aren't isolated incidents. I've collected thousands of testimonials from people who've used this technique to transform every area of their lives: health, wealth, relationships, creative expression. The common denominator is consistency and emotional engagement with the practice. What's fascinating is how this technique often brings results in unexpected ways. That's because your conscious mind has a limited perspective. It thinks it knows exactly how your desires should manifest. But the universe, or the quantum field, has infinite pathways to bring you what you're truly seeking. When you use the salt water name technique, you're communicating with this infinite intelligence at a level beyond your conscious limitations. Now let's talk about how to amplify the effects of this practice. The first amplifier is physical movement. After you complete the technique, engage in some form of rhythmic movement. Walking, dancing, even cleaning your home with intention. Movement helps to circulate the new energetic patterns throughout your system. It tells your body that change is happening. The second amplifier is selective attention. Our brains have something called the reticular activating system, RAS, which filters the millions of bits of information bombarding us at any moment and brings to our awareness only what we've programmed it to look for. After doing the saltwater name technique, consciously direct your RAS to notice evidence that your desires are manifesting. Look for even the smallest signs that what you want is coming to you. This creates a positive feedback loop that accelerates manifestation. The third amplifier is what I call acting as if. Begin to make choices and take actions as if what you desire is already your reality. If you're manifesting financial abundance, make decisions from a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. If you're manifesting vibrant health, make choices that a vibrantly healthy person would make. This isn't pretending or denying reality. It's aligning your actions with your new energetic signature. I remember when I first started practicing acting as if, I was still deeply in debt, but I began making decisions from a place of abundance. Instead of asking, can I afford this? I asked, is this aligned with my values and priorities? I still budgeted carefully, but the energy behind my decisions shifted from fear to trust. Within 6 months, new income opportunities appeared that I couldn't have planned or predicted, and my financial situation transformed completely. Now, I want to address something important: the role of action. Some people misunderstand manifestation techniques, thinking they're about sitting back and waiting for desires to magically appear. That's not how this works. The saltwater name technique aligns your entire being with your desires, which then leads to inspired action. After doing the technique, you'll likely find yourself having new ideas, feeling drawn to certain opportunities, meeting just the right people at just the right time. These are not coincidences. They're the result of your newly aligned energy. Your job is to follow these nudges, to take action on the opportunities that present themselves. Think of it this way. The technique is like programming the GPS in your car with your desired destination. But you still need to drive the car. You still need to follow the directions. The difference is that now you have clear guidance, and the route will be far more direct than if you were driving aimlessly. Another critical aspect of this practice is patience combined with detachment. When we desperately want something, we create resistance to receiving it. It's a paradox, but desperation sends a signal of lack to the universe, which then reflects that lack back to us. The saltwater name technique helps you shift from desperation to expectation, a calm knowing that what you desire is already on its way to you. This state of calm expectation is magnetic. It draws your desires to you through the path of least resistance. So after you do the technique, release the how and when, trust that the intelligence of the universe, which grows flowers, spins planets, and beats your heart without your conscious input, can certainly handle bringing you that new job or relationship or health breakthrough. Let me share a personal example of this principle in action. Years ago, I was trying to manifest a very specific opportunity, a chance to speak on a major stage that would elevate my work to a new audience. I did the saltwater name technique daily, visualizing myself on that exact stage. Weeks passed with no sign of this opportunity. I was getting frustrated, wondering if the technique was failing me. Then one day I received an invitation to speak at a completely different event, one I hadn't even known existed. Initially, I felt disappointed. This wasn't what I had been visualizing, but something told me to accept anyway. At that event, I met someone who was connected to the very organization I had wanted to speak for. One conversation led to another, and within 3 months, I was standing on the exact stage I had originally visualized. The lesson was profound. My desire manifested, but not through the path my limited conscious mind had imagined. Had I been rigidly attached to exactly how my desire should come about, I might have missed the opportunity when it appeared in an unexpected form. This brings me to another powerful aspect of the saltwater name technique. It helps you develop intuition. As you practice consistently, you'll notice an increase in what seem like coincidences, gut feelings, and moments of clarity. This is your intuition strengthening. In our information-saturated world, most people are disconnected from this natural guidance system. The saltwater technique helps you reclaim it. Your intuition is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. When you get a hunch after doing your saltwater practice, act on it, even if it doesn't make logical sense at the time. This is how you build trust in your connection to universal intelligence. Now, some of you might be wondering about the best time to do this practice or how specific your desires should be. Let me address those questions. Regarding timing, as I mentioned earlier, sunrise and sunset are particularly powerful times because the electromagnetic field of the Earth is in transition during these periods, creating an opening that enhances manifestation work. If those times don't work with your schedule, the next best option is just before sleep. Your brain transitions through different brainwave states as you fall asleep, passing through the highly programmable alpha and theta states. Doing the saltwater name technique just before bed allows the new programming to integrate while you sleep. As for how specific to be with your desires, this is where art meets science. Be specific about the essence of what you want, but flexible about the form. For example, if you're manifesting a new home, be clear about how you want to feel in the space, what key features matter most to you, the general location, but don't fixate on a specific house that might not actually be the best match for your true desires. Remember, the universe often has something even better in mind than what your conscious mind can imagine. I've seen this countless times with my students. They manifest what they think they want, only to realize later that if they had received exactly that, they would have missed out on something far greater that was aligned with their soul's deeper desires. This brings us to an important consideration, your higher purpose. The saltwater name technique works most powerfully when your desires are aligned not just with your personal wants, but with your soul's evolutionary journey. When you ask for something that serves your growth and allows you to contribute more fully to others, the universe moves mountains to bring it to you. Take some time to reflect on your desires. Ask yourself, if this desire were fulfilled, would it help me become more of who I truly am? Would it enable me to give my gifts more fully to the world? If the answer is yes, you can be certain that universal forces will support its manifestation. This doesn't mean you can't manifest material things, beautiful homes, abundant finances, luxury experiences. These can absolutely be aligned with your higher purpose if they support your wisdom and expand your capacity to serve. The key is the energy behind the desire, not the desire itself. I've worked with artists who manifested studios that allowed them to create work that touches thousands of hearts. I work with entrepreneurs who manifested business success that enabled them to implement sustainable practices and provide meaningful employment in their communities. I've worked with parents who manifested financial freedom that allowed them to be fully present with their children during formative years. In each case, the external manifestation served an inner purpose aligned with growth and contribution. That alignment is what gives the saltwater name technique its true power. Now, let's talk about consistency and patience. Any powerful practice requires both. Do the saltwater name technique daily for at least 21 days before evaluating its impact. Why 21 days? Because neuroscience shows us roughly how long it takes to begin forming new neural pathways, essentially to start rewiring your brain. During these 21 days, you might experience what I call manifestation contrast. Old patterns often intensify right before they release. You might find yourself facing situations that seem to contradict what you're trying to manifest. This doesn't mean the technique isn't working, quite the opposite. It means you're stirring up old energies so they can clear. For example, if you're manifesting financial abundance, you might suddenly face an unexpected expense. If you're manifesting harmonious relationships, you might find yourself in a conflict. These are opportunities to practice your new beliefs in real-world situations. How you respond to these challenges determines how quickly your manifestations will materialize. When manifestation contrast appears, double down on your practice. Double down on your practice. Do the challenging situation as fuel for your transformation, rather than evidence that the technique doesn't work. I remember one student who was manifesting career advancement. 2 weeks into her daily practice, she was passed over for a promotion she thought was guaranteed. She was tempted to give up on the technique, believing it had failed her. But instead, she intensified her practice. She used the disappointment to clarify what she truly wanted in her career, which wasn't actually the promotion she'd been fixated on. Within a month, she was recruited by another company for a position that was far better suited to her skills and values than the promotion would have been. Had she not faced that initial disappointment, she might never have opened herself to the greater opportunity that was trying to reach her. This points to another key principle. Manifestation is not just about getting what you think you want. It's about aligning with what will truly fulfill you, which is sometimes different from your initial desire. The saltwater name technique helps you align with your authentic path, not just your conscious wants. As you practice, you may find your desires naturally refining themselves. What you thought you wanted might evolve into something deeper and truer. This is a sign of the technique working at the level of essence rather than just form. Let's talk now about some common challenges people face with this technique and how to overcome them. The first challenge is doubt. Doubt is natural when you're trying something new, especially something that challenges conventional thinking about how reality works. But doubt doesn't have to derail your practice. When doubt arises, don't fight it. Simply observe it. Oh, there's doubt showing up. Then gently return to the practice. Over time, as you start experiencing results, doubt naturally diminishes. Until then, You don't need to eliminate doubt completely. You just need to not let it stop you from practicing consistently. The second common challenge is impatience. We live in a world of instant gratification, so waiting for manifestations to appear can be difficult. Remember that some desires manifest quickly while others take more time, depending on their complexity and how much inner transformation is required. When impatience arises, focus on appreciating what's already manifesting in your life. Gratitude accelerates manifestation by shifting your energy from lack to abundance. Each night before bed, identify 3 things that happen during the day that represent progress toward your desires, no matter how small. This trains your mind to recognize evidence of manifestation rather than fixating on what hasn't yet appeared. The third challenge is what I call reality testing, the tendency to constantly check whether your manifestation has arrived yet, which actually pushes it away. It's like planting a seed and then digging it up every day to see if it's growing. This constant checking comes from doubt and creates energetic interference. Instead, plant the seed with your saltwater name technique, then trust the universal soil to nurture it. Check in with your manifestations during your daily practice, but otherwise, focus on living your life fully in the present moment. Manifestation thrives in the soil of present moment awareness.